Hello and welcome to another MSDP tutorial video. In today's video, we'll be looking at how we can automate the parameters on the system console, including the power button, making a new board, and today we'll be focusing on controlling the metronome. Now, as with any modifiable parameter, we can use all of our data modules to make these changes, but since I just finished producing a video on using the controller mapper, I thought that I'd demonstrate how to control these parameters with our hardware today, picking up where we left off. So if we look at the system console, if we go to the very top right corner, we see this little sliver of a button that says list, and clicking on that presents a secondary window that shows us the automation ID for the console and the parameter numbers for every potentially automatable parameter on the console. And this covers basically everything that we see here, which means that we can change anything that we want to. So to get started, we're going to make a new board. And from the data menu, I'm going to select the controller mapper. I've already covered this in detail in another video, so we're going to dive right into this. I'm going to select my Minilab controller, and then I'm going to turn some dials so that we can see that this is in fact working. There's the active control number and the active value updating over here. So as we saw before from the list, our automation ID for today is going to be MSDP_console. And we're going to use that for every change that we're going to make. Now, a pretty good starting point would be to control the on and off switch for the metronome. And if we look through the list, I know it's pretty big, but the metronome parameters are all on the right-hand side of this list. And we can see metronome toggle is parameter 19. So I'm going to set module parameter 19 as the second value. Since this is a switch, I'm going to choose the switch mapping mode. 0 is off, 1 is on, and then all I need to do is determine what I'm going to use over here to make that switch. So I think a pad is a nice choice for this, and if I press this pad, I can see that's MIDI note number 43. So I'll change hardware mode to note and pitch number to 43. That's all we need to do. Now I can simply use my pad to turn the metronome on and off. Straightforward, right? So again, this is pretty easy for anyone who's already familiar with how to use automation. I'm going to grab that automation ID for our next parameter, place that in there, and now let's try something different. Let's try automating the volume. The volume values don't actually range from 0 to 2 like they would in the normal dial, but instead they range from 0 to 127, which maps onto the normal sort of silence to full volume. And then we can go above that up to 156. So these are modified MIDI values. The volume parameter is parameter 5. So I'll set that in there. We're going to scale this time, and we'll scale between 0 and 156. We can optionally add a small ramp time to make the transition a little bit smoother. So I'll add that 1/10 of a second ramp time that I like to use. Now I just need to choose my parameter number. This is active control number 75, so I'll set that to control value 75. And right away, if we watch the volume dial, we can see that move in response. So this makes for a very good way to fade in and out an entire performance. I can turn the metronome on and then bring the volume up. And that's basically it. To finish this demonstration, I want to show that we can do the same thing to change the beats per minute for our metronome. So in our new third mapping, I'll set that console ID, and I'll choose parameter number 20, which we can see is BPM. For this one, I'm going to stick with scale again. I'll do the ramp time of 1/10 of a second, and I need to choose a low and high value that makes sense for this project, maybe between 60 and 160. And I need to set that to control value. I'm going to choose 72 for this one. Now I can see my BPM scaling from 60 to 160 and back down. So this is a very easy way to make large changes across the project without having to do it on a module by module basis. And that's it. So to review, we can use any of the control modules that we have using any of our preferred control methods to automate any parameter across the entire console and the console metronome. Thanks for watching, and we'll be back soon with more tutorial videos.